Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Friday's live surgery with AP Foundations, Mixed Foundations and DBA Projects. Just waiting for you to all join us. Everybody, we are here. We are ready for our Friday surgery. Welcome along. Bear with me a minute. Hi, Chris. How you doing? Hi, Ant. Really looking forward to today's session with you guys. Hi there. Thank you for joining us. Just waiting for a few more people to come along, and we're going to start. Hi, Mr. Hype. DJ Hype, welcome. Hi, Bradley. How you doing, guys? Just waiting for a few more people to come in with us. Just going to get us started. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. I hope you're having a lovely day. Beautiful weather out there, isn't it? So today is all about music intervention. Our topic is music. So we're going to be talking about how people use music through their journey in life, how they use it to rehabilitate themselves, how they use it to make a career, how you can just use it to get through stuff. It can be used in a negative and a positive way. So today we're going to be interviewing a DJ, a very well-known DJ, Mr. DJ Hype. He's been in the industry for a numerous amount of years and a lot of experience and a lot of tales to tell. So that'll be interesting. I think we're going to start with bringing Andy on because Andy started his life through music as well. So hi there, welcome. Come along, come join us. Thank you so much. Hi Marvin, how you doing? Welcome. Thanks for coming along. So we're going to start with Andy today. I'm just going to invite Andy on and we're just going to get the old conversation flowing. If you just bear with me a moment. Okay. Right, and Mr. DJ Hype, I will be with you in one moment. DBA, I see you. Hi, Dan. Hi,
Okay, let's get you in.
How you doing?
Okay. Yeah, I'm all good.
So,
Brilliant.
I was just explaining to our viewers that today's topic is music intervention, and not a lot of people might know this about you, but you started off in the music industry, correct?
Yeah, as I said, I still am involved in the music industry today. My career goes 40 years, and person who's with us today is a good friend of mine, Kevin, otherwise known as DJ Hype. And he was, one of the original people who I set off my journey on with, and also his very close friends, Carl and Elle, who are better known as Shut Up and Dance, the record label. Yeah. And a number of people from our area took that path, as I said, and it was, we were young kids, they were 13 years old, I was 14 years old, and we'd set up our own businesses effectively in the music industry, And Kevin and myself will take you through that journey today. And I think what the relevance is going to be is that we used to have sound systems all around these areas, Stoke Newton, Hackney, Tottenham, Clapton, and that was how we had our release, People would follow the sounds, and there would be an odd incident of trouble, but, nothing, you couldn't even imagine the way it is. It was healthy competition, between the areas. And in fact, guys from different areas would be parts of different sounds from different areas. That was a very common thing. And
you find it was a good distraction from life,
It was a great distraction, yeah. And it's very creative, channeling your energy in a very creative way. And I think Kevin's going to take you through that journey today, because what young people don't realise is how this scene really started, Yeah. And we're talking now about drill music, but, you're going to see how the whole thing innovated as well, how it got there, And we'll take you back through how the whole scene was created in jungle and drum and bass and led right the way through, and what it was like back then, how people were actually united and people were safe to go to an event. Yeah. And and it'll be interesting because no one was, completely, guiltless of sin. We all had our little past and stuff, but some obviously took it to, different levels. And every single person that done that and went that direction, it can only one way, and that ending one way isn't a good ending, No matter how, glorified you think you are at the time, it does end up bad. And, those who took the musical route, well, it speaks for itself, Yeah. They will go down, in modern music urban history as people who are the creators and innovators of a lot of this stuff that you listen to today. Yeah. So
any music people on viewing today, please get involved in the chat, convo, whatever. Give us your opinions, your journey. This is all about how people can make positive moves with their life, and music is one of them biggest therapies. I mean, all of us have our music, our tunes, and we all use music to get through life in different ways. So we want as many people to get involved today. And should I bring on Mr. DJ Hype?
Yeah, throwing Kevin, yeah. And
Right.
while we're doing that, I'll also say, you know, we're not just going to talk and give it lip service. We're going to make it active and actually bring in the music industry, which is an industry I know and I love. I've been a part of 40 years, in a full way into this foundation. You know, we're going to obviously make it clear today. We've got 30 Kickstart jobs available in the industry. Starting with our own foundation, work going to be taught and mentored by some of the guys connected to this foundation. Also, some very close friends of mine and business associates who run pub festivals. They'll be taking on a number of, as I say, Kickstart apprentices to work on this year's Met Fest. And we'll be giving away some tickets today for that event, and also a meet and greet with some of the artists, including Fat Joe, who's coming over to perform on the event.
So
From the States.
Amazing. We're not just throwing out the Friday search.
No, so we're going to be bringing it up.
Jobs, giveaways. We've got it all going on today.
Completely. There's going to be an announcement as well later in the day for a huge event, which we're going to be taking on board next year. It's going to be a different level completely. All right.
But, music, this is the place to be.
We'll be teasing you and leading you up to that over the next 2 months, basically. But believe me, there's not going to be an event of its size or of its depth in this country. It never has been and never will be. So
it's amazing.
We're not
just throwing out lives now. There's opportunities. I mean, we're all about to come out of lockdown properly. Life is about to start moving, and we've got them opportunities to offer people. And I just think that's absolutely amazing. Yeah,
as I said, it's no holds barred now. You know, there's certain goals we have to achieve. There's certain benchmarks we have to get to. As a foundation, I feel now we've finally arrived and we've got there. So now it's time to unleash the whole lot and, you know, really get rid.
Okay, I'm going to bring on Mr. DJ Hype.
Great.
DBA Projects, I'm going to bring you on next in a minute. I'll let you have a little break for now, Dan. I'll let you off because you're always on first. Hi, Lauren. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I see you all joining. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Hi, Mr. DJ Hype.
Hey, Kevin. And I was just going to quickly catch you there because where Kevin's sitting, right there, those speaker boxes, right?
I'm going to go down. Actually, I'll go back down.
Great. Because I'm going to quickly say to you, those speaker boxes Kevin was standing behind, they've got a lot of history behind those. And I'll quickly tell you the story, but I'd love for Kevin to further it. But those boxes, I hadn't seen them for 40 years. But those speakers, as I said, have got a real history to them.
The original sound system that we built.
That's right. Tell them the
They're
story,
authentically
Kevin, where
built
the wood came from.
Well, these were built in about 1983.
Wow.
The bottom bins, 81. So tell them about the first one, Kevin, the first box that was made there. Where the wood came from.
1981. They're not the original ones. This is not the ones from 1981.
They didn't make it that far.
But it's not about the speakers anyway. I don't even want to. I want you, Andy, to tell me what this foundation's about. I don't want to know about festivals. I just want to know what the whole point and what you have done in your life, which has turned you around. I think it's very important because a lot you might know it. But, you know, like, you know what, how you spoke to me in this basement about a week and a half ago after us linking after about, I think the last time I saw you was about 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And what the actual charity is about, it's not just music because, and getting the people in board, because the way you just started that, if I was watching that, it's just like trying to promote a bloody rave, mate. Like your history is a very, you know, like even how you came about to do this. You know, you explained to me about Belmarsh and cutting crime by cutting the violence by 82%. It's a very, I think it's a very important start for it because people on your foundation might know all this, but my lot don't, and it kind of sows the seed to help people get involved. Because as I said to you on the phone earlier, I've had people phoning me up like, oh yeah, you lot just trying to get money. It's not about money. It's about trying to stop children, young kids. You know, like you said, the stabbing, you know, the almost the glorification of it. And we came from 1980s when, you know, it was bad then, but nothing like this even when this was all first starting, I was quite cynical, to be honest, the violence, because I was like, well, stabbings happened when I was a kid. One of my best friends nearly died when I was 18. You know, I did stupidness. I was a bit of a mugger. I was a little car thief. Not that I couldn't even drive. But I've done all these things. Burglar. I used to go in people's houses, burgle it whilst they were in. But I didn't do it it was all a game to me. You know.
So it wasn't out of survival. You was just, you wanted to be part of that life.
You know what? He was talking about Earl and Carl. Yeah, Earl. He sat me down. The last time I went to juvenile court I was about 15, and the boy I did the burglary with wound me up, saying that his brief said we're definitely going inside, and I've never wanted to go to jail. Also, one of my best friends, and he's still my best friend today, and even at school he was called father, teacher. He's a very wise kid. He sat me down, Earl and Carl, and they're like, why are you doing all this? What, you trying to, you know, like, that's what people say, well, man's got to survive. He's like, what, you starving? What, you homeless? We just talk shit. And we used to, what's the word? Tell ourselves that we ain't never going to be nothing. What's the point? So you turn to crime, and you hero worship the guy in the manor who's the crime. You know, like the criminals look cool. When you're a young kid, that looks cool because you only see the glorification bit. You see the cool bit.
Can I just ask, when you become a DJ, was you still into crime, or did you become a DJ after that?
No, it didn't work that way, look.
No? Tell me how.
It wasn't like a conscious, my whole life, that's why I'm doing this, yeah? In this lockdown, I smoked for a lot of years, and I gave up smoking, and I've done a lot of reflecting. I'm at an age of 53. There's about 6 of us that have kind of come through this where we haven't been in prison. We've done all right, you know, and we've made, like, life is what you make it.
Yes,
and what today, back then, we used to tell ourselves, whether we're black or white, you know, at the moment, people turn it into a colour issue, but it's more, if you live in a poor area, it's who you hang around with. And if you haven't got any guidance, and that's all you know, I used to go on Sandra and Frontline, you know, and think it was cool. You know, I'd love to be on, like, because I grew up in black culture totally. I never moved into it. That's all I knew. So the sort of good and bad side of it, and white culture. Gang violence, to be honest, when I was a kid, like estates fighting estates, was the white gangs that did that. And there was, like Andy said, there was all colours. There was trouble, violence, but not like today where postcode wars, you know, like, the ends, you know, you live in a council flat, ain't even your ends, you know, and also the internet makes it very easy. Like when we were young, if I've got a row with Andy, I got to go and see him and face him and have it out. Now they make videos, they wind each other up to the point where it's, you know, and also even at school, young kids don't have any, you're not even allowed to hit your kid anymore, you know, so there's no fear. American gang, well, you know, where's that, you know, crack cocaine? I was saying to Andy off here, to me, this all stemmed, drugs play a big part. You know, like if you go back to the sort of early days, like not to my very beginning of me, but when, like, you know, like when you had Genesis and it was acid and it was ecstasy pills. Yeah. I'm not condoning drugs, but I've always said it. If anyone's going to get, like, ecstasy made everybody love each other. Yeah. And from the sort of house to hardcore to jungle, where 1993 or 4, I can't remember what year, I did an event called Jungle Fever, which is a very famous jungle event. It's one of the first, well, it probably is the first, speaks for itself, Jungle Fever. Shouts to Brocky, Eastman, and all the cool crew, who all grew up in my area. They're slightly older than me. Their event in Coventry, my friend was 10 years older than me. I've told this story before. And he was like, I've waited all my life for this, because it was like all the music we'd grown up with. There was every race, color, creed, you know, like black, white, you know, people that didn't even come from the same era. I saw a lot of Hackney, what I would have called then the bad man, you know, all with little white glove ravers. The two would never meet on a normal day, but it was just all love. And
it brought people together.
Yeah, but listen, and then within about I don't know what year, when the crack epidemic came, which again, America, it's not funny, love. It's serious. I
It's the
saw
way
a
you said it.
change from everybody loved that to all of a sudden they're there with the cocaine. Sorry, not the cocaine, the champagne. There's all of a sudden there's gun crime. You know, Hackney becomes the murder mile. And it's all from copying American culture and that crack. You look at the history, then within about a year, you know, the whole dynamics of our scene changed and the whole area changed. But like if you look at the moment, at least that era's gone of crack. And the gun, like I don't know if you remember, there was an era where there was a lot of shootings all the time. And in that, when we were kids, there were like when I was young, the violence that I grew up around was fighting, bottles, knives. But knives weren't like every minute there's a stabbing. But
no,
there
you'd
was
have a
very
one-to-one
rarely
more often.
there was no shooting, yeah. And I thought that was all sudden there's guns everywhere. Then that stopped, thank God. And then the drugs again change. This whole culture that's going on in the moment, I do. So if I was going to blame any, I think there's too many factors, you know, especially American culture, because America, you know, like England looks to that and for some reason emulates everything they do. Or if something bad happens over there, they act like here's like that. When the two countries are very different. We grew up, look, I've got Jewish, Muslim, my mum was Jewish, my dad was a Muslim. That's a war in itself.
Yeah.
My stepdad was black, my sister's a mixed race, Andy's flipping, who are you, Jamaican and white. You know, we're a melting pot of culture. So we didn't have the internet where I can make a video and have a gang war with someone. And when you're 15, 16 and under, you have no empathy. You don't think before you move. You know, when I used to get nicked, I'd be in Stoke-Newington police station or in Dalston police station in my cell thinking, why did I do that? Like, after you're caught, then you should have, because you don't think.
Yeah.
And I used to do burglaries when someone's in. I wouldn't, if you said that now, you're mad. I was telling you a story where me and my friend, and Earl brought this up, where I bought a bag of weed from a club called Chester's in Stoke-Newington, and underneath in the day, all the sort of drug dealers, big men, I'm 13, we bought a bag of weed, went home, and then it was rubbish. And like, we went back there demanding that, we're two little kids, like, I want my money back, rah, 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 rah. I mean, they would have just slapped me, but I think they just gave us the weed. Now, you're mad, I wouldn't go, if that happened now, I'd just be able to leave it. You know, when you're older, you become wiser.
Can I ask you, what made you stop crime?
I don't want to go to prison.
Yeah. So what, you made a conscious decision to stop that life?
I didn't, also my own brain, you know, common sense. But if I was having friends that we were, there's, Andy was here the other week. There's me, Earl, Carl, another friend, Ricky, who's a MMA, I put him in contact with Andy. You know the guy that I sent you the picture with Conor McGregor?
Yeah.
Us three have had slightly different, me and Earl have had a similar journey. This guy, like, between us, there's a moral compass. And, you know,
you just got to a stage where you thought, I can't do this anymore.
Well, I was a petty criminal. That weren't my plan to be something. It was just, you do it when you're a kid, it's a game.
Yeah.
You know, but then when you're watching people go prison, another guy's getting murdered, another guy's murdered someone, you know, like over the years now, in the last 10 years, there's been people that I ain't seen for years. All of a sudden I'm not going to name it, but you hear about Thingy, he's dead. You hear about this one, drug addiction, hung himself. He never, you know, there's people long-term prison sentences. And if you watch any documentary on the telly for, you know, whether it's a mafia guy or in America or, you know, Andy himself, where you're telling your story and it always ends with, if you survived it, that I now go around trying to stop young kids making the mistake I made. But the problem with the younger generation, when I was young, the same thing, they'll look at us like you're just some old man. And you got to learn that. So like what Andy said when we had the first meeting, which he recognized and I recognized, there's people that don't want to know. You know, like there's people you're never going to change. They got to learn the hard way. There's other people that go, oh, jail ain't nothing to me. When it's like, all right, that's you. I like my freedom. And also music, I didn't get into music to save me, but organically it did. This became like Andy was saying, sound system was like a religion then, you know, and it was really, I loved it. I didn't get into it to have a career.
Yeah.
And that was in 1980.
You just loved it.
Not this sound system behind me. I got into it. This is one we built we were taking this on the road when I was doing 2-deck mixing. But Andy said this quote that started, he said, when I met you, it was one turntable and a sponge. Yeah, 2 decks didn't exist. Electro music didn't exist. It was lovers rock reggae. And that journey from then to today, I have a lot of discussions with people that I do tell that you wouldn't be doing what you're doing if it weren't for, like, if you follow that trail back, it starts with not me, the individual, but us, and also the racial and cultural dynamics of it. But it weren't there to stop crime, you know.
Do you think that music has, like music affecting young people now, what they listen to? Do you think that that could be a negative or a positive impact?
I don't think, you know, like when I was a kid, like I was saying to him, my friend come down the other week and he's got like a 10-year-old boy and an 8-year-old boy. I can't remember. They're very young. They're not out there doing anything wrong.
Right.
Even my own son, he's 23, but he likes all that. I liked rap music, but I didn't listen to it. But you know, like what happens, which I find strange, is a lot of these sort of guys, like when you're in that culture, you live in it. It's reality. They're not doing it to promote. That's what they know. But then a lot of them become famous and they got their millions. They're out of that. They don't live around there no more. They've, you know, but they still promote it like they're in it. There's a guy that comes right here that I know that's a complete opposite. I don't even know him that well. He come up to me one day and just said, "Oh, I could see you're a real brother." And I looked at him and I don't even know him. He knew Earl. And I said, "I'm not being funny. Why would you say that?" I said, I like. And then he was like, "Oh, any friend of Earl's, you must be all right." But then he was telling me, without me asking him, he's like, "Mate, I didn't choose this life. You know, like if I had an alternative, of course I would have done that. But if that's all you know, that's what you're going to do. You are what is around you. You know, like there's someone near me. It's really weird because this what they called sorry, sorry, I'm not going to say her name, but she works at a school and about 2 years ago asked me to come and do a talk about music. But I thought it was just a normal school, and then she never happened. And she lives right in. Then she said to me, "Oh, the school's not got the funding or whatever," when I wasn't doing it for money. But about 3 weeks ago, she come see me, and it's actually a school for troubled kids. And she was talking to me about one boy, like the dad, he lives with the dad, you know, like the two are split up. The mum's a drug addict mum, and the dad, when he's staying with the dad, he's stable. But when he goes to the mum, he's around all that. And she was asking me if I think I'm going to be doing it like September, October after school holidays. But she wants me to kind of go and sort of either, you know, he likes to give him an outlet to try and steer him away. But I was also telling her that has he got any friends that are not gay? Like when because there's no point adults telling someone what to do. And then they go back to the nuttiness and they got no one around it when you're not around to guide them. If you, like I said, I was lucky enough to have a couple of friends that could see that that's a dead end thing and not to do it. And really the combination of not wanting to go to prison, common sense, and good friends guided me away. And then fast forward to today, it's very different. It's all glorified. You know, this little boy, 8, as I was telling you earlier, he come in here. One of them loves drum and bass. The other one liked football. So the one was we were doing a video. So the little boy that likes football was in the other room. You know, he's not interested. Then I went and sat with him. And I said, "What, you don't like this now? I like football." I said, "You must like some music." And the first thing, I said, "What music do you like?" "Drill." You know, straight away. Which, you know, just because you listen to something, it doesn't, you know, like everybody blames the music. Yeah?
Yes, yeah.
No, but in some ways, but they're happy to put on a film where everybody's gunning down everyone, like violent movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, such a good point.
There's no problem with that. They're Hollywood blockbusters. Nobody speaks about that. Yeah. And also, part of it is in your own decisions.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
the thing that Andy touched upon with me, not like the other week, which I never really looked at that way, was the grooming side. You know, like, and especially in this day and age where they know, it actually happened to one of my friend's daughters about 10 years ago, where she was about 15 and she used to hang around with these guys, and I think one of them sold heroin. And because the police stopped them, they made her hold the drugs because she's a minor. But then she was, you know, like she nearly, you know, basically she's not doing that anymore. And luckily it happened at an age. But they know the minors, you know, like if I get nicked with a large amount of any kind of drug, I'm going to, you know, chances are I'm going to go to prison. You know, a young kid getting it, they're going to get off more. These kids ride around on their little bikes. You know, it's too easy. So, it's guiding those ones that are trapped in it that want to get out and giving them.
Can I ask you a question?
That made me. What?
Sorry. If there's young people on here right now and they want to get into DJing, what advice would you give? People. What advice would you give to a young person if they wanted to start that career?
Well, that's what your foundation is going to do.
But I mean, from your experience.
The whole point of today was for Andy to talk about what the foundation actually does.
No, we want to know what you do, and I want to know your experience.
Well, I do music. It started off as just a love, and we created a. You know, there's a lyric that Earl says, like, I never lived with my dad. He never lived with his mum, and my mum used to call scratching and rapping, whopping and scraping.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was my dad says, "What's that noise you're making?" Mum says, "What's that whopping and scraping?" Now we got the whole world, you know, participating or something like that. And we sowed that seed that opened up a whole industry. You know, like from that 1 deck to 2 deck to pirate radio to acid house to hardcore to jungle to drum and bass to garage to grime to drill.
Yeah,
you know, there's so many different elements of it. I mean, over the years, I could sit here and reel off name after name of people that hit me up over the years that I didn't even know. Oh, I got into it because of you. So I know also the mental therapy of it. Like
that's what I wanted to ask. How has it helped you mentally? You know, as a DJ, like does it get you through life in your situation?
Well, in my mental help, it's not the DJ bit, just music. You know, like anyone, if you could put on, like, songs mean different things. And
to everyone,
And, you know, it brings back nostalgia or whatever. So, and everyone loves music. The problem with the sort of violent, you know, I used to like sound clashes where they talk about sticking your head up your mother's pussy and all kind of shit. And that doesn't mean I want to go and do it, you know.
Right.
There's a lyric, you know, but I'm being honest. You want me to talk, you know, this is what it is. We always had it.
I just weren't expecting that line, that's all.
Well, it is. It'll be, you know, like if you want to argue with me, I'm going to push your head back up your mother pussy. There's like, they're dark. But
look, Hype, I'm just reading here. Hype was a major influence of me getting into jungle. Like, you've influenced so many other people as well. That must make you feel proud.
Of course I'm proud, but I don't influence people to get out of crime. You know, I can't make but I know over the years, you know, like, because people tell me this, like where my studio is, where Andy come and met me, just hanging about. I get people of all ages, and there's industry people that have written, I mean, like Rodigan's book, DJ Target's book. I don't read these books, but, you know, there's documentaries. There's a lot of people that don't write about me, but there's a lot of people that don't know my full history. They know the sort of jungle era. But also I meet people that tell me, like outside the studio a couple of weeks ago, this big guy, he's actually a bouncer, I didn't know, for celebrities. And he's huge. I look like that. And he was like DJ Hype. Like, I gave him a t-shirt and he was like, I'm going to treasure this. And all right, then at the same time, a girl come up to me. She was, I think she said her age was about 30. She said she was from Essex. And she grew up, you know, with the fake eyelashes and the lips and all that crap that I tell my daughter, I hope you never do that.
No way.
But she came to Fabric expecting it to be like a typical club with her mate. She walked in, she's telling me this, it changed her life. She saw people that were just normal, the music was better. And I get told this year after year, Sorry.
It's okay. We're all doing it. I think it's the weather as well, to be honest.
Sleep well at all. There was a cockerel. I was telling Andy, there's a bloody cockerel going bah, 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 from about 4 o'clock this morning. I wanted to choke it out. You know, we're talking about like keeping the peace and peace, love, but then.
And you want to strangle a bird?
Well, I don't, but it was like water torture. You know,
need
that
to add it into some music.
Anyway, so I'm a bit tired today. But
I'm just literally reading the comments here. Like, it's amazing what I'm reading. You've done such a positive impact in your industry and in your life. Yeah. And I just think where you've come from, what you've just told me, I just think that's amazing how you've spun your life around and how you've made such a positive impact on so many other people. That's amazing.
It's amazing, but it wasn't my intention.
No, but how good's that? That's even better, right?
I mean, there's a lot of people. There's people that but of course it is. It's amazing, you know. Like and I've been doing it for 40 years. Like when Andy come and linked up, how we met. I mean, how did I link up with you again? I'll tell you this story. It's amazing. I sleep by putting on sort of podcasts, and I turn off the picture, and because I can't sleep in silence, I want music. Yeah. And so what it is, the podcast just said about £100 million coke redemption. So I'm like, that sounds interesting because I like watching those. I'm listening to those things, and I went to go to sleep. About 30 minutes in, remember, I don't even know his name's Andy Pritchard. I knew him as Andy. That's it. Yeah. So when's the last time I see you? Was probably about 25 years ago.
25 years.
That's amazing.
It was on Michael McIntyre. Right? So then I'm lying there, and it's like, I grew up in Hackney, and he's talking about that. Then he sort of started talking about his first music was ska, and I'm sort of dozing, thinking, I like ska. And then it was like, I went into Lovers Rock, and I'm like, but I'm not like consciously taking much notice. Then he started talking about, he basically was telling me own story. You know, like I built a sound system. Then he got this bit, when you got to understand, many people from this industry came from that. They're DJs now, but they were sound system boys. And he went, Kevin. And as soon as I heard my name, I was like, huh? Woke up.
Ding, awake.
I put the picture up, and I'm like, looking at Andy, but still not. I'm like, hang on, Andrew Pritchard. I'm like, I don't know that name. Then I'm like, hang on, that's fucking Andy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
His sound was called Mellow Magic, right? So then what I did is I messaged you, innit?
Yeah.
Instagram, and then he came down, and that's how I'm involved in this. And
that's amazing. I think that is. I mean, even to be reconnected after all them years and still so close.
He came down. He didn't know us. Even, you know, we're talking about the amps, everything. He's like, blimey. It is. If you're from that era, and also not only is he from that era, he's from my era. Like he recognised all this straight away. You know, like it's not meant to be, but it's almost like a museum piece. And the reason I set it all up again is because it brought me back to that. Because as a person at the age I'm at, you know, I'm not 20 no more. And this sort of brought back the love of, I've got 40 years of history musically that I've been really ignoring and just playing out for 30 years. For the weekend, want to please the kids and not looking at my actual cultural history, musical history, Hackney, you know. So this brought it all back. And then him coming
Do you feel like you've reconnected with your roots again? Oh.
Way, not you. Yeah, but I want him to tell his story of how he got, not like condensed 3-hour one like your document, just to sort of.
I think your signal keeps going.
Well, all right. Well, I figure where Kevin wants to go, and I think.
And then what made him realise, you know, like you said to me down here once, I was at the top of that food chain, and I went straight down to the bottom, and that you know, we all get.
Sorry, I think your signal's going a bit weak because we can't see the picture and it's just spinning. I don't know if you can hear me.
All right. The signal, Kev, your signal's fading. So what I'll do, Vicky, I'm going to pick up where Kevin was. and share that story, you know.
Yeah.
Because Kevin, the only way to describe Kevin is a bit like Marmite. People either love him or hate him. And, you know, I've known him for 40 odd years, as he said. We started off really as kids, you know, and we were kids. He was 13, Carl and I were 13, myself, I was 14. I think Richard, Ronnie, Trevor, guys like that were about 15. And in the era where we grew up, you know, it was condensed. It wasn't a good era. It was a terrible era part of Stoke Newton. You know, it was ghetto, really. And, you know, I remember that story with the speaker, the first speaker box that came about, it was Kevin and Cole. They climbed over the woodyard. There was a woodyard just at the back.
Yeah.
3 in the morning, stole a piece of 8x4 chipboard. They carried it home on their heads through the estates, because if the police had seen them that time, they would give them a really good hiding, because Stoke Newton police or Dalston police were terribly brutal.
Yeah.
They still are now, but I mean, back then, you know, they were seriously beating people up for fun, you know. And they went back, got a saw, they sawed it up and made the first speaker box. And, you know, it wasn't long after that, they were putting on their dances. They had a sound called Selena. We had a sound called Mellow Magic. And we lived streets away. And they borrow our speaker boxes. You know, we'd have records, borrow them some records. And, you know,
how cool that you created it all yourself. I mean, nowadays it kind of takes the fun out of it. You buy everything, but like the way you went and stole the wood and you built it, it just makes it so much more better, doesn't it?
We were entrepreneurs, Vicky.
Yeah, you were hungry to make something else.
On events and to, you know, we make some money for ourselves. And we put on little parties, you know, we would go to old squats, clean them up, you know, charge people £3, £2 admission.
You had the best time of your life as well, didn't you?
Make this bar. You know, and we done it. You know, I mean, unless we made, you know, we were doing it. It was business we were setting up. And let's go kind of fast forward it, because Kevin's accomplishments were amazing, and Cole's accomplishments, you know, and Earl, I've got to say, you know, I was away during that period of time. They set up a shut up and dance label, but clearly, you know, that was a great influence in terms of jungle music, you know.
Sorry, Andy. DJ Hype, if you can hear me, I think there must be a glitch somewhere, because we can't add you and you can't add me. So just be patient. It might clear in a minute. We sometimes have this issue on lives. It happens to us all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know who I really do want to bring in? Because I know he's got a bit of a music background as well. Daniel from DBA, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, jump him in. Yeah. So, you know, that was the beginning of that journey. And, you know, as I said, you know, they went on to produce records.
There he is.
You all right, Dan?
How we doing, guys? You all right?
Hi,
All
Dan.
good, fella.
How we doing? Yeah, all good, all good, all good.
Are you back in your corner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was through the history stuff and this music stuff, because Kevin has said to bring it out. So I thought I'm going to give our listeners today that understanding, you know. And Kevin said something to me. He said one day he went to a friend's rave, which was a jungle rave. And the guy called him up on the stage and said, look at that. As he looked at the crowd, and it was black and it was white, it was Tottenham man, Stokey man, Brixton man, got white middle class people, and it was all of them together at this rave listening to this music, right, which had originated from roots of the sound system. That's where those roots of that came about, you know. And I looked at that, you know, a couple of years earlier with Genesis, you know, and we brought tens of thousands of people, you know, week in, week out, to the East End of London.
I'm sorry. I'm so glad you fed him.
Andy, you can't see my missus just ripped something on it from last week.
She's right. He's been fed this week, Vicky, so no stomach rumbling. Honestly, I bought him a packed lunch to post.
I'm going to kill her.
I love it.
Sitting in the room next door as well. I can hear her with the kids and everything. I'm going to kill her.
I love it. I love
Absolutely
it. I love
brilliant,
it.
Daniel. Absolutely brilliant.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, so, you know, in that music journey and stuff, as I said, and, you know, when we done Genesis, it was the same thing. And I'm going to get to the gang culture, because that's quite important. And back then, you know, kids, urban black kids weren't killing each other at that time. It wasn't about that. More violence was coming from the football hooligans, who were dominantly white. And when we put on Genesis, and this was a unique thing as well, particularly Genesis, I remember someone saying to me, it's going to kick off. There's West Ham, there's Arsenal, there's Millwall, there's Chelsea. They're all in this gig. Yeah. There wasn't an incident, because everyone didn't want it. You know, it was somewhere everyone went, and drugs did play a big part, admittedly, but 100%. It was the first sign that groups who were at conflict, who were gangs at conflict, could be together side by side without conflict. So that was going back 30 years ago. All right, that's pre-postcode, that's pre all of this stuff. So it could work, it happened, right? And historically, you know, their first flyer is in the London British Modern History Museum. That's history now. You know what I mean? So let's not look at the accomplishments as small things. These are massive things.
They're massive. They created a path for another,
right?
You know what I mean? Everyone else, yeah.
So where did it all go wrong with young people? Because we were doing music, we were promoting, we were putting on events, and there was bits of trouble here and there, but we were getting through it. A couple of things Kevin said. The influence of what kids see on TV, you know, and I remember a significant time. I remember The Wire, when The Wire was first aired.
Yeah.
And I saw things change rapidly, you know. And another thing he said, a little place used to go, a little den there used to be, we used to go and buy weed. You know, as kids going down there, and even the front line, like 14, 15, 13 years old, slipping up there, you couldn't, as a youth, go and buy a gun. No big man would sell.
Yeah, who's going to sell you a shutter?
But
no.
It wouldn't happen. Yeah, it would never happen.
Respect was different then, I think, as well. Wasn't it? Morals.
There was a different,
and it was a hierarchy level.
And even if you was a criminal, you almost have a moral not to sell to a younger.
Right.
And even though that sounds weird because you're a criminal yourself, at least have the dignity.
So we have to look at ourselves and look at what's really going on. So if those are the principles set by criminals at that time, what does it say about the modern day criminals? So if you're looking at people and you look at someone who's done sex abuse, paedophilia, them sort of things, they're looked at as a certain way, right? Because it's like, Jesus Christ, that's my kid. And if you know, molest your kid, well, that's exactly what these guys are doing.
Thank you.
Effectively molesting your children. There's no difference between them getting another 14-year-old or 15-year-old hanging out a chicken job and every giving that kid a fiver till he gets to the end of the 5 days, he goes from Monday to Friday, he's done 25 quid. The following week he does the same thing. Then the guy goes, you owe me 50 quid. And the kid's thinking, I'm getting 3 boxes of chicken every day. He can't go home and tell his mum and dad. Because he's frightened because he should have done in the first place. And he's on that slope, you know.
It's almost tricking him into it, isn't it, really?
It's paedophilia.
But it's paedophilia. And Andy, I'm so happy that you're saying that.
And there's a million ways it's being done.
Because I'm saying it to the kids that I'm working with, and they're looking at me like, what are you saying? You can't say. And I'm like, I don't give a F. I will say it, and I'll say it to any elder's face, because I know when I was around doing my bits and pieces, and me and my brothers have all spoken about this, if I was ever to go and shop a load of food to a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old, my boys are going to do me over.
Exactly. Look, little.
And Andy being in the position that he was in, if he ever did that, all them people that he's walking around with around the world, they'd be like, fuck off, mate, we can't work with you.
So
excuse my language, but it really hurts me and pisses me off that people are not able, and the police and society are not able to see what we're seeing today. These groomers, they're paedophiles. I don't give a F what anybody says, and I'll say it to their faces.
Yeah,
the truth of the matter is, right, and this is what I find, and the belief is, you know, all right, people want money, okay, and that's a big part of why guys get on the road and do stuff, right? And two things I'll say, there are different roads to take, and a lot of guys could have gone on that road. Kevin, as he said, he was frightened of going to jail. Fair enough. There are other guys on our block. There was Trevor Nelson on our block, you know. Trevor, the guy went on to, he's one of the biggest radio fucking DJs in the country right now. You know, everyone come from the same school. And another thing he told me, and I wish I could get back on in a minute, and it was even the disciplines were weird. We used to have at Princess May, a guy in elder years, which was Glenn. His father used to own a club called Trends, which has a very good history. It was originally owned by the Barry brothers, and the Craigs used to put their name to it. And he bought it, was one of the first black-owned clubs. His dad Vin bought it, and he opened it as Phoebe's, you know. And Glenn and his brother Danny used to run it. But I remember as kids, you know, a kid was bullying another kid in the juniors. The teacher went out of the classroom, went and got Glenn, who was 2 years older, got Glenn to come down to the classroom and kick the kid who was doing the bullying. Right? And say to him, right? And say to him, this is what happens to bullies.
We need more than teachers.
All up tough, right?
That's quality.
This was how it used to work. Do you understand me now?
It weren't all bad back in the day.
No, it was, some of it looked a bit brutal. But it ain't as brutal as what it is now, because it may be, if the disciplines were different, right, it wouldn't get to where it's got to, you know. And I'm saying, so we've got to look at ourselves. We've got to look at the influences that television does play for these young people, right? And the influencers, big people, they listen. Two things I realised, and I realised this in the drugs business, right? You can make as much money as you want. You can get as high as you want. You won't get there selling it to kids, right? So if that's the mad
If that's the
mind you've got,
mentality,
right?
yeah,
That's not working. It's a bad formula. I'll tell you now, you ain't going to get very far. You might have a 5-year run. You're going to go to prison. That's where that's going to end up, right? So if that's your business plan, it's a terrible business plan, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, the bigger picture, as I said, it's like we've got to give people opportunities. We've got to give young people a chance. And as I said, music is a great gateway for me. I wanted to become a very prominent promoter, you know. That was my thing. And, you know, all the guys around me went on to become music executives, some of the biggest record companies globally, you know, and everyone cut out their own pathway. But what I'm saying is, it's time that we give something back now. We owe it to our young people. You know, if we're seeing that television or that other people are getting and grooming them and influencing them in a bad way, for those people who have got somewhere, it's very important for them to say, okay, let me give back. And we're not talking about money because, you know, this isn't a money thing for me. Do you know what I'm saying to you? It's great when we get money into the foundation, but the truth is, on the AP Foundation, up to this point, maybe 60 to 70% I fund myself. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not about that. So we ain't taking people's money to go and do things and spend and live come kind of thing. It's not about that. It's really about community, bringing community back and doing good things.
I'm going to try and bring DJ Hype on to see if we can do 4 again because
brilliant,
just let me just try.
Great.
Because I've tried to let you have a break, so you know what technology's like with me, guys.
Yeah, on a Friday. What are you saying, Kev?
Great, Kev. Get yourself some internet, man. All that money has got.
I'm all right, but this is, I've told so many people to promote this.
Kevin,
mate, no, you lot. 1 second, I'm just going to switch my internet again because every time I sent a request, it was saying, you can't hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can hear crystal clear.
We're cool.
Crystal clear.
We're good, Kev. Oh no, he's gone.
Oh no, you've gone
again.
This is a proper thesis.
Is that better?
There he is. Yeah, there we are.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Perfect. Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
There we go.
So
you're gonna have to switch it off. I was like,
no, but you don't get rid of us that easy.
Yeah.
But you ain't said, Andrew. I told you, please, for the people that I want, talk about what it is.
Yeah. So let's get there now.
You got on some weird waffle, mate.
So let me get there.
It's like what you're saying is not clear.
Right.
The point of the foundation. No, because I told him when we do it.
Right.
Because I want to repost this later.
So Kev, let me tell you the journey of this. Right. This is where my stomach turned.
You really want the end part.
When I was in prison, right, in 2000. When I was in prison, right, at Belmarsh on that yard, right.
What year was that?
All that was 2013, right. All I saw around me was young kids, right, who were in constant conflict with each other from the street, right? Now, as soon as they arrived in prison, as they got through that gate, it was kicking off. It was kicking off, and it had reason to kick off because they were in there on murder charges, and it related to other guys who they had conflict with. They had murdered members of their gang, right? And one incident I saw one day, 2 guys were on opposite sides of the yard, and I spoke to one of them, and I was talking to him. He said, "Yeah, that's part of that gang, and that guy there, and they're gonna ghost him and Ray. But hold on, that old kid over there, I know his parents. Your parents and him are cousins, right?" And I went over to that kid, right, and I says, "You're at war with him, right?" I said, "You and him are practically relatives, right?" And a pair of them didn't even know they had any correlation together, right? And the thing is, as kids, we knew each other. That was the thing. I told you this story. My parents didn't have babysitters. My parents would drop me off at uncle, auntie's house. Everyone was cousins. Everyone was friends. If you were a person of colour, you was like that to someone because you knew that you were, the minority, and you kind of look out for each other. So I haven't wanted to make a conscious decision to try to change that. You understand? And with other prisoners, we decided to go in there, scout guys who could mentor, who could break all this bullshit down, right? And mediate the conflicts. Now, that worked in Belmarsh like no course has ever worked, right?
And what was the end result of that?
The end result was the assaults within the prison had reduced in a 3-month period of 85%. Okay, what it resulted in was meant that staff could move around freely now without having to bullshit walk 2 free-handed, escorting one kid from one wing to the other. It meant people come into prison safely and visit the prison safely. It meant that you wasn't locked up constantly because more staff was available to let you out and put you on activities, right? And it was a good result all the way around. And all it proved is, if you're in a closed environment, you can live together. So what stops young people in an open environment not being able to do the exact same thing? Lack of role models, responsible people who want to stop this bullshit, because that's what it comes down to. And it's all good, but when you get that 35-year sentence and you're set up the road to Whitemore, you're becoming a burden on your family. You're burden on everyone you've got around you. They've got to send you money up there. They got to take their ass and visit you at the other side of the country. Yeah. You're
it's not fun anymore.
You're putting that on people's heads. Yeah. Plus, you've got the grief of someone you've gone and killed. Their family have to deal with that. They have to find money to bury their kid. Do you understand me?
You've got to live with that every day as well.
Of effects, right? And as callous as it may sound, it's for us as big people, right, who have grown up on these streets to step up and do something about it. You understand? And 100%. I'm doing everything I can do. I can consciously say that. I ain't doing it for money. I'm all right. I ain't doing it for that reason. Yeah? And I ain't doing it for wear a badge or a sticker. I'm pretty well known. Do you know what I mean? I don't need any more publicity.
You don't need it.
But I want every person that I have worked with in the industry, that's film, that's music, that's everything, to come in and do their part. I'm asking for money. I'm asking for your time.
Just give back.
Your time. Yeah, let's
just
give the kids back something.
That's
go on, Kev.
So, Andrew, talk about the actual foundation and what it actually does. And what it's there to do.
Okay, so what we do basically is we produce courses and the elements of the not just the AP Foundation,
Mixed Foundation,
DBA project. Collectively, we promote courses for young people to get out of gangs. We put on music courses, and these are variations.
We're in schools. We're in schools
to put out stuff to people where they can learn skills. Correctors. At the moment, we're going to be obviously recruiting now.
It's not just you. When I saw you last week, that's what it does. But there was more to it about kids that are groomed, how to help them get away, not just to do, just to get out of it.
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot to it as well. All right, and there's like Dan in the corner of the screen. Dan works specifically in that field. All right, Kevin.
Yeah, let me say a little bit. Can I jump in and say a little bit about all of us, about the AP, the whole thing?
I don't know. You lot were talking about.
Go ahead.
Listen, this is what we're doing. Yeah, AP Foundation, DBA Project, Mixed Foundation. We are out here trying to stop the gang crime. We're trying to stop the knife crime. We're trying to stop the grooming. We're trying to stop the drug dealing. We're trying to create change for our young people because our society.
You ain't gonna stop.
You can do the best you can do. If you
we're
don't
trying
make
to create
effort,
change.
We're trying.
It'll never change.
The one thing that I agree with that was the grooming side. You know, like kids that want to escape. Yeah. Most kids, me included, when I was that age, I did it because I wanted to. You think you're gonna get out of it once I'm in? You ain't. The ones that are actually in it, they don't want to be in it.
Yeah. And Kev, just to follow on from that, we work with a lot of kids like that. So I'll give you. Oh, is he? You lost your.
It's going slow, yeah.
Twice, yeah, I just read your comment. That's so true.
Like even Andrew, look where you ended up. Yeah, it took you to learn the hard way and go right down again. No one was going to tell you nothing when it was going on. You're not going to go, oh, is it? But they know what you think. I don't know. Juking up someone is bad. When you're that age, you've got no empathy, no sympathy. You know, especially the youngsters, their frontal cortex is not even developed yet. You know, that's why you get the movie thing. Like when I was a kid, if I saw you and another guy having a big fight, I'm excited. And you could...
Yeah.
Like what you're doing now, you want to stop it. But they look at us like we're just old. Trust me. I'm 53 and I've been in it for 40 years. I watched every the thing go through from the one deck, you know, the roadman, the front line, all the reggae clubs, to the hardcore, to the Canning Town, and you know, like the Fantasy FM days with the foot. I've got football. I never did it all, but I've been around it, and it never. Not one of them. Only ones that learn are the ones that have been jailed or they can't or they're dead. But the kids that you're trying to stop that are scared to get out of it and got no outlet, I think you're doing amazing with those things. And I'm not saying you shouldn't try and talk to the kids about gangs, but you know, you get community. I watch TV with community leaders. Most of them, I don't really, I think they're flogging a dead horse. And then also the police can't do anything. There's a shop at the bottom of my road where 4 kids used to go in there. They're about 14 with a dog and let it off on the bloke. The bloke could quite easily grab the guy and slap him, but he'd get nicked. Then the police come and go, oh, we didn't see it happening. And the kids are across the road, you know, but the school teachers can't even touch. They play football. They know they can get away with it all. That's why the older lot give them the stuff to do, because they can't get nicked. What's the worst that's going to happen? They'll get given a bloody... When I was a kid, the victim got the sympathy and the perpetrator got punished. Now the perpetrators get sympathized with. You know, like one of my good friends is a prison warden. I don't know about now. There was at one point when he was telling me they got PlayStation. You know, he said, I'm like, what? And like, good luck. If I was in prison, of course I want all that. But
you see, is he paused?
He's paused.
The reality is, though, getting to what you said with the prison, we're going to give him a conservative badge in a minute.
I hope you didn't hear that.
But the reality is...
But you, see, like you said down in my basement,
right,
I was,
in the prison system,
I was at the top. Huh?
Yeah.
Apparently the signal keeps cutting.
We've got to get him a stronger Wi-Fi system.
Mate, I'm standing right
by the reality is, as he says,
mate, we only had it installed about
you get in the corner a bit more.
Look.
Get in the corner a bit more.
Look.
Put the Wi-Fi box on your head.
Mate, if I get any closer, it'll be up my bum, love. Look. No, what it is supposed to be the
so I'll see you one of them songs in a minute, ain't ya?
This is supposed to be the super fast one. It was super fast for about a day.
Yeah.
What about now? Is it better now?
That's better.
A bit better. It probably is a bit better than it was down there.
I can't get any closer.
Brilliant. So I think, you know, even you joining us, DJ Hype, I just think, look, we might not be able to change everyone's life, but as long as we're trying and we're talking about
I agree with that.
And we're covering topics, that's all we can do, right? We're getting out there, we're connecting with the world, we're trying to talk to all these young people, families, you know, we want to be there to help anyone we can. And that's why you're with us now, because you're going to help us along the way.
There's certain things I believe you'll have very good success with. And, you know, anyone who knows me, I'm quite a cynical git on everything anyway. But, you know, like when I was that age, I used to be shown social workers, all kind of people. And I just used to look at them like they're idiots when half the time they probably had the best intention. Today, you know, they talk about the police like as if the police are so oppressive. The police don't even do bugger all these days. They might stop you. But, and the problem with today's culture is young kids, like the fashion even. You know, you got the gang, that, you know, like if you walk down the street, young school kids, it's just the fashion. They're not wearing it, all of them, because they want to be in a gang. But you can't tell the difference between a gang and a school kid. It's glorified. The TV pushes it all the time. So it is, you are what you see, innit? And what you live around. You're a product of your environment. And
you are a product of your environment.
And I think what happens, the things that you guys are doing,
you've gone into another corner again, ain't you? Right. Go back to your corner.
Yeah, people are saying I can't hear him.
He's having a walkabout, I think.
Sorry, I
Stay
do
still.
that when I do
Yeah,
that.
you're talking and walking.
Yeah, it's
Go back
moving,
in
it's
the corner.
freezing. All right, I think Kevin's, it looks like he's lost again, Vic.
Yeah. Yeah, he's there. He's there. He needs to go back to his
I'm
Wi-Fi box.
Look, I am.
I am.
Right here.
You know. Right, okay.
I came here
Back and forth.
because my home internet is so bad, and that's supposed to
Okay.
be super fast.
But yeah, so, you know,
See, look, they're all agreeing. Get back in your corner.
we're not going to be able to change the world entirely, but
no,
we can
no,
start
but
by trying to change
you know,
our
I've
own
got,
community.
you know, you
Do
got
you know
my
what I mean?
support.
So,
But you still ain't told
very
that you
important.
ended up, like, you are proof that it ends in failure.
Ends in failure, full stop. Full
And
stop. You can go to the very top of the mountain. When it comes down, it all goes. All right? You can have a dozen Bentleys. You'll be left with none. You can have 100 houses. You'll be left with none. That's one thing that's guaranteed. Right? And the reality is, if you can set a path in your life, which is a steady one, right? And one that you know you can go to bed at night, the door ain't coming off from a rival gang or from the police. You can get on your drive, get in your car, and know a hitman ain't running up to side you
That's
to put one in the back of your ear, right? Or you can do 1,000,001 things that can take you out of that life of misery, not only the destruction that you're going to be causing thousands of people in your process, all for your own greed, right? You can give yourself and your people something to make you proud of. And that's it. And that can be a plumber, that can be a builder, that can be anything. But you're building things, not destroying them, right? But we have to start somewhere. And the reality is, I disagree with you, Kev, about you can't get to people that are hard to reach. I'll tell you why I disagree.
no, I don't
There was
mean you
no
can't
one, I'm
say
going to tell you why. There's no one on the face of this planet who was more harder to reach than me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm living proof. An impossibility. The judge turned around and said I've been responsible for destroying thousands of lives. Hundreds of murders, you know, right?
How did you learn?
Manipulator, a corrupter of people
Did
and,
you?
and systems. Can you imagine that? And I will tell you now, my mission in life is to repair that damage I've done with these kids. Getting
And look
back
at the
to them.
difference
Yeah,
you've made already. I mean, this is not about talking. You've got proof. There's proof in the pudding. You've absolutely smashed it. So now we're just taking it to that next level and smashing it that bit more, aren't we?
Every flaw has to be removed.
And we
What?
can't change everybody. We
You're-
know that. We can't change everybody. We're aware of that. Because
No,
I've got
but-
enough kids, Kev, enough kids of mine that I've been working with that are in jail for murder. I'm sitting there and we're living proof of that. So
Yes.
we can't change them all.
Yes.
One at a
But
time, please, gentlemen. Everyone needs to listen.
no, I'm listening, but my point to Andrew was like he's 50, he's my age.
Yeah.
When he had 50, when he was doing it before he got caught, you wouldn't have been able to tell him to stop. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because I wouldn't
Most-
stop for the simple
most of us
reason
the hard
there
way.
was because what I'm saying to you is there was nothing that could have financially rewarded me to the level that I was being rewarded. But for a young person who's out there making £1,000 a day or £1,000 a week and thinks that's a lot of money, there are a million avenues that can get you off of that road.
Yeah.
Okay,
Legitly.
a million avenues.
And there's a
And
million
your
other
life
ways
will
to
be
make it.
secure and stable.
Yeah.
But like you just said,
Don't bother that.
is it Darren or Dan? I'm old.
Dan, Kev.
Dan, you know,
Dan,
like you said, you're
Dan,
talking to a
man.
guy in prison who's in for murder. Like really, at that stage, he's even
No,
if
it's gone.
Pardon?
I'm saying at that stage, that's obviously extremely difficult. But those are the examples
Yeah, that's
that we're
what
trying to say to you, that we're trying to alleviate of all the BS that's going on out there at the moment. When they get to that stage, that's the moment where obviously we've tried our hardest. One of my kids the other day that we had last year, and it comes down, you know what, one of the things I think you spoke about it earlier on, it comes down to that word funding. We had a kid last year, he was working with my organisation, and people weren't able to fund and so on and so forth because they thought it was too much or it was too this. 12 months later, the kid's going down for 20 years. Now, we believe that if we had that intervention there at the beginning, that could have created that change of mindset. And I guess that's what we're trying to get around that bit there. Does that make sense?
Yes, I salute you for all of that. Like,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can I get your attention a minute? Now, this is the part where we start talking about what we can do in the future. So, let's start with what we've got to offer on the table. Andrew, tell everyone about
so it's quite positive stuff as well. And what we're going to be putting out today, we're going to be running courses, basically. So it's a business startup, and they're absolutely free to go on. Anyone over the age of 16, men or women, can apply to go on them, all right? It's a 12-hour course. We're going to run 2 sets of them.
Amazing.
One during the day for those people who aren't working, and one during the evening for those who have got employment. What it's going to do is going to give you the skills you need to be able to set up your own business, okay? And that's going to run for 5 days, 2 hours a day in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, I said, for 2 different tranches of people. Now, that's going to teach you how to have an idea, work with that idea, create a SWOT analysis, and see if that business is viable to put into the marketplace.
Next question. How can anyone get involved? How can they?
Everyone can apply. Tomorrow a flyer will be going, that electrical flyer. Careers Academy in Croydon will be offering a platform where people can apply. You will also be able to apply through our website, information at apfoundation.co.uk. There'll be a basic information form you can fill in now. The only thing you will need is citizenship, a way of a passport, or just prove you've got a citizen's card that you can obviously, get
not
this.
Not a bus pass,
not a bus pass. No, just proof of identification, obviously, and proof that you're a British citizen who can live here. And you'll be able to go on that course. At the end of that 5 days, you'll have a good understanding of how to create a business plan, how you can get funding, how you can do your tax returns, how your business can be viable, setting up your website and social medias, reaching your target audience. So that course is open to everyone who's here.
Even if you said, I don't want to start up a business, you're going to learn skills just to basically survive.
Even if
you're struggling with paperwork and surviving in life, this will teach you basic skills. Trust me, I work for the foundation. I'm doing this. There is no need to miss out on this. Mr. I love you.
So that's going to
we are trying to raise money for our bus, correct, Andy?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so we are trying to get as much money together or whatever, and we want to introduce a very special person to our team, don't we, Andy? This is Chrissy. This is our Chrissy. Chrissy is in charge of fundraising. Now, if anybody wants to help Chrissy along the way, donate, get in touch.
Donate, get in touch.
We need the dollars.
AP Foundation. We need your help, guys. I know what DJ Hype is saying, but we are positive, we can do this. We will do this. I'm a mother of 3 and I'm a grandmother of 4.
I think I came across a bit more...
Be quiet, DJ Hype, he's talking.
Listen, I'm at I come from the streets, and I made good. It wasn't easy, but I did it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. And we need to change the narrative today, people, okay? Donate. People have got drug issues. Their mothers have got drug issues. They've got no support at home. They're running the street at 12, at 13, years of age, and they're being killed. These are our children. It doesn't matter what colour, what background they come from. We're here, DBA Projects, Mix Foundation, AC Foundations. We're here to help, and we're going to do it. We're going to change.
She's amazing at this, isn't she?
She's good.
Hit us up.
Chris will be running the live next week.
Honestly, I'm so
absolutely
passionate about this, guys.
Right, can I just follow? Oh, sorry.
It's from the heart down, I feel it. It needs to be. We need change, and we need it now.
Right. Can I follow on from that? So with the AP Foundation, we've set up these organizations in a purposely way, okay? So we've done Mix Foundation and DBA Project. So we go up to age 16/18, and then AP Foundation take over the young people from that. So what we've tried to create here is 3 organizations that can work from 0 to 25, 26, or even older if we need to. Okay, so we've got the Mix Foundation, the DBA Project. We're in schools. Mix Foundation is based up in Nottingham. DBA Project, we're in schools all across London. Okay, we're working with regeneration at the moment with Stonebridge and Harlesden. We're doing various things. We do mentoring with kids. We do talks in the schools. Then it follows on to the AP Foundation. Once you hit 16 to 18, you need that support with apprenticeships, getting jobs, getting work and everything like that. That's where we're here to put the courses out there for you. We are one big team here. No one individual is going to create the change with everybody.
One big family.
Go on, Hype.
We'll put you in the right direction,
Mr. Hype, I can hear you trying to say something there.
What?
Kevin, go on.
Saying what Dan was saying, what he just said summed it perfectly. You should have said all that. I should have had you talking at the beginning. What you do?
You were we wanted
Listen,
to give
this is
the
how we
floor
do it.
to you, Marmite.
Wait, did
We're
Dan
about to
answer your
ring.
question?
Yeah.
No, he just said we're doing that.
So-
That's what I want to hear. That bit.
We are, and the most important thing, as I said,
You was
we're
talking
getting
about
into communities. The
the
bus is going to be a big part towards that, you know, and getting into the hearts of the
Massive,
communities,
massive.
and getting into the schools, and getting to where we really
I
need
know,
to be.
but-
You know, we're going to bring the fight to them. Do you know what I mean?
And
We're
can
not
I
going to
just
sit
say,
on our
we are
backsides.
not
We're going to bring
no
it forward.
arty-farty, we're not no authoritative people. We're like your
Yeah.
family, okay?
We're real.
Chrissy here, she's working her butt off voluntary to raise money, okay? If you think you
Amazing
can help
lady.
or contribute, then get with us. We're all one big family. We want to work together, like Dan said, from the start to the end. Chrissy needs some backing up here. We need to get a bus built and we need to get stuff moving. So we need your help, guys. Please, please, please help us along the way. There's
We will.
courses, there's voluntary positions, there's jobs that, you know, we can mentor you. We can do anything you need to, but just come to us. We'll work with you the whole way.
You know, as a,
Now,
it's a
Andrew,
pathway.
you was talking about setting up some kind of hotline so that kids that want to get away or needed not just for a job but just to help get away. You know the whole chicken shop story you talked about to me.
Yeah, cheese up grooming.
Yeah, they've got nowhere. Can
Yeah.
you talk about that, please?
We're going to be setting up a phone line, and what it will be a supportive phone line to parents, to young people who are caught up in this stuff or just generally concerned.
Yeah.
And the phone line will be there for people to be able to contact someone at the end of that phone who can give them advice, okay, or a little bit of guidance, a bit of clarity.
So-
because it's from basic things. If your kid's coming in and they've got excess money, you know, wonder where they've got it from. If they've got new trainers, they've got tracksuits, wonder where they get it from. For hanging around with older kids, wonder who those kids are. It's not against the law. Search your kid's bedroom. Do you know what I mean? They're in your house. You know, whatever they bring in your house, you're responsible for as an adult, as a parent. You know, search their bloody room. See what's in there. If a child's got a samurai sword, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And
You
don't
know?
be letting them out. Simple.
Right?
Sorry,
Don't
I'm
be
going to
getting
say
your
that.
kids
Don't
out
let
of
them
Listen,
out.
I
If your
think as
knife's
well,
missing from your
it all
kitchen
starts
drawer,
with the training,
tell
right?
yourself what something's wrong.
I was like that as a kid. My mum didn't know. I used to have you buy it down the waste market. Remember the waste?
So what I'm saying is, Kev, you know,
Amazon
there's one thing
sell 'em
buying
now.
it, there's another thing going out and using it. What's important is kids,
One
parents
thing-
need to take
It's
responsibility
not a
here as
one-off
well.
like years ago. It's accessible now. That's the problem.
Go on, Kev.
Go on, Kev.
Companies, manners.
Put his hands up.
He's under manners now.
At the end, he's
It's
put
all
his hands
changed.
up.
It's all changed. It's all changed.
That's come full circle, isn't it?
We've gone on a right journey here, haven't we, guys?
We'll put him on a course. He's one of the juveniles.
Put his hands in the air. He's like a new person.
What I was going to say, I didn't know, you know, like I'm all for giving charity. I thought you were already funded. So I was telling everybody it ain't about money, and that's why I was a bit shocked. It was like, because I didn't know.
Funding, okay. Every day there's funding. Let me explain to you. There are numerous.
I didn't know that.
Okay,
Put your hands up,
how
Andy.
charities work. There are numerous funds from different grants. There are different things, but every day there are new projects. All right, and when you're a moving wheel, you want to create new things up every day and get more and more stuff done. You know, people can help fund that. That's through charitable donations. People can do fundraising from events. Government will fund to a certain degree different kinds of things, but it's about doing new ideas, being creative, and doing as much as you possibly
Thinking
can.
out of the box. Just keep thinking out of the box.
Somebody actually, you know, I got people to post up banners, and one of them put in, we're raising money, and I'm like, no, we're not raising. If I knew that, I would have made
listen, every charity. Listen.
No, I know, but I would have done that. I would have been telling everybody to put it up.
Well, then Andy can get you.
It's not a
problem.
problem.
To your
What
side
I'm
then
saying
about
to
what
you-
we're doing there.
Yeah, and it's not going to
Guys.
be the first or the last live you do. You're dragged in now, whether you like it or not. Do you know what I mean?
Guys, just looking at the comments here, we've got people like Bassy Baby Presents. They want to promote us. We're going to be posting stuff online. We need your help, guys, the viewers, to promote it, to share it, to help the fundraising page go further. So after the live today, we're going to promote the fundraiser. We're going to promote the courses. We're going to promote the competition. We need you to help get it out there. Spread it out for us. The more people we've got, the better we will be as a family, as a unit. Do you understand?
Now
We need
you've
to be
frozen.
together on this.
And I also want to unify a lot of the guys who are in the music industry, younger and old. Because
Needing
what
to
we
help.
need to be doing is putting ourselves, giving our time to offer some of what we've learned from promotion, all the different stuff in these industries, and
Thank
offer
you.
young people opportunity to
Glad
learn
you
some of this
said
stuff.
thank you.
Because ain't no good us knowing it and dying with it at some old age. It's for us to pass what we learnt down. Do you know? Because that can open the door to some young person who decides he's going to become an promoter or work in this industry and do a positive thing with it. You know,
But look,
they're
that's it.
things
Stronger united.
we
You're
need
so
to be
right.
giving in all skills and all trades. You know, you can't take them with you. You know what I'm saying? So you can give
All you
young
guys that are
people
watching right
opportunity.
now, that are commenting, please come with us on this journey. Please stay
Yeah.
with us. Thank you so much for your comments. Thanks for getting involved. Like, this is what we need. The more of us that unite, the more of an impact we can make over the time. Nothing's going to be done overnight. This is a slow process, but we're raising a whole new generation, and we don't need the next generation stabbing and mugging each other.
Nah, man.
We need to
It's
make
boring.
it a better place to live. I don't want my boy growing up in that life, and you don't want your kids in that life. So let's make this change together to make sure this next generation is not ruined like the last one was. Okay, we can't blame parents, we can't blame this, but somehow something went wrong because we're all killing each other and stabbing each other. And you know, we need to bring this new positive energy, this new influence. Sorry, Hype.
Good.
But it's very what you're doing is fantastic. What you're saying about why these kids do it, because it's become pretty much not the kids that are actually.
It's like
My
fashion.
son and his friend, he's 23. He don't need, but he loves all, you know, like there's something about, you know, like when you go every mod, a rocker, you know, like the 50s, every generation of kids, you know, like mods used to fight the rockers on the beach. You know, there's something about young, that's why the war. There's something, you know, like obviously trying to self fit, but there's something young kids that find cool. You're like a girl, as a young girl, you look at the cool guys, usually the most horrible one. You know, it looks all cool, and you have to literally learn the hard way. So what you guys is fantastic, but you know, like the media, the TV will talk about it like terrible, but still carry on glorifying it by putting it everywhere. And
Before we end this call, you want to tell me you get your internet off because I'm going to complain.
Yeah, people, yeah, can barely hear you.
It's really rough, this signal for you.
After.
I'm going to buy you a booster box.
Well, we're up one.
But
All
you
right.
know, as I said, the most important
It's
thing
probably
is,
like
you know, the message.
older.
The message today, as I said, is something we need to just build on and grow on, and there's opportunities. And what I'm going to do as well, Kev, I think this week or next week, me and you should take a walk around the manor, and we should film that, and we should stop at all those places where we were as kids and remember what they were like back then, and look at what they've become now. Every spot where someone has been murdered, a young person has taken a life.
Yeah.
And you know, every spot will have a story to tell, okay? And I want you to do that with me next week, Kev. I don't know what your schedule's like, but we need to be doing that.
Right now,
because,
every viewer
you know,
that's watching us, I want you please
We'll
to follow,
we'll
share,
talk after
donate,
because
help
obviously
us.
the signal's so bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Go on,
guys,
Vic.
anyone that's here today, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of it. Obviously, we're just covering another topic, music, which is a great topic. But every other week, we cover different topics. And the whole point is to reach out to you guys and build this family, build this community that we can help, that we can make a difference. No one can change someone's life, but if we're trying, we're going to get somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And that's what all of
100%.
us are trying to do together. So anyone that's watching and thinks, I want some of that, I like the sound of this, then come on board with us, come and help us, because we want to make that change together.
And I want to thank Chrissy as well. Chrissy, my long time friend. Love with all my
Amazing
heart.
lady.
And you're one of the people with my golden
She's my
hearts
adopted nanny
you'll
now.
She's
you'll
amazing.
ever
My
meet.
new granddaughter,
You know,
Diana.
as I said,
Amazing.
you know, we're building a great
Loving
family here. And as I said, it's all about positive change. You
It's
know,
Yeah.
whether we're going to be successful, whether we're not going to be successful, the matter is you make a bloody effort. And that's what really,
We
really
will make a
matters.
change.
We're always going to be
That's the
successful,
start.
Andy, and I'm going to tell you why. Is because whether we change one kid's life, that's success. And we're going to
And
change
you
a
know
hell of a
what?
lot more people
It
than
has a
one.
ripple effect as well. So we
Yeah.
won't change one
So
kid's
we
life,
are
we'll
gonna
change
be
their kid's
successful.
life. And their
100%.
family's life. It's a
Yeah.
ripple effect.
Thank you for coming today, Kev.
Thank
as well.
you,
Much appreciated,
everybody.
brother.
We've changed Kevin's life.
Thank you. Listen,
Thank you, everybody.
It was
follow
so
us,
bad.
get donating, get sharing, get part of our journey, get involved, join our courses, be with us, come with us, please. We want
Get
you to be
involved.
part of it.
Okay, AP Foundation, DBA Project, Mix Foundation.
Thank
Go
you.
and hit us up. Join everything. Be a part of the family, please.
Big love, massive love
Great.
from us. Have
Later
a
on.
good weekend
Kev,
on Sunshine.
take care. Andy, we'll speak in a bit.
Thank
Vicky,
you.
Nanny, later.
Good night.
Later.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.